Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and with us now being past the halfway point of Snowpiercer, things are really starting to go off the rails. Throughout this video, we're going to be breaking down everything you need to know about the latest entry, including our thoughts, theories, and predictions for the future. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out episode 6 yet, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Please drop a thumbs up if you've been enjoying the coverage, and don't forget to subscribe because we're going towards the finale full steam ahead. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Snowpiercer episode 6. Episode 6 opens from the perspective of Brakeman John, who discusses how he actually enjoys life on the train. John is of course a member of authority that enforces law and order on the train whilst also breaking it. On the side he deals Kronole, and he's actually quite a contradictory character when you think about it. To me, this in general comments on the train and how hypocritical the idea of it is. It's been set up to preserve life as it views life as being the utmost important thing. However, the way that the hierarchies on the train treat the life that live on board it, namely the tail, shows that they don't really value it at all. It's an interesting route to take for the intro, and the character utters the line "trouble comes sideways," which is the episode's title. This may be a reference to the Janitor, who said that Snowpiercer was basically just a high-rise building turned on its side. However, there are a lot of interpretations that you can take. Throughout this opening, the main plot points of the episode are also set up. We see an electrical failure on board the train, which I think was caused by a leak that happened in the shootout with the serial killer. We then cut over to Third, who are starting to see the train for what it really is. They are clearly disappointed with the murder trial, and it looks like they want justice for Nikki J instead of just ice. You know, I had to do one bad pun, at least in the video. Now, Layton is also experiencing the issues that arise in coming off Kronole too quickly, and throughout the episode, he suffers badly with withdrawal symptoms. After the titles, we join the drivers discovering the electrical fault and Melanie receiving meditation therapy from Jinju. I think Jinju being in the quote-unquote engine room with Mel confirms that she is indeed aware of the character masquerading as Wilford. They talk about the strike going on in Third, and this blowback from the trial shows how powerful Third actually are, as it massively worries Melanie. Third can completely overrun the train if they wanted to, and I think the theories that the tail and Third will unite in order to form the revolution are slowly starting to mount here. Melanie has pretty much the weight of the world on her shoulders in this episode, as she not only has to manage the population, but also the technical fault that slowly starts to develop. Life is of the utmost importance to her, and she wants to stop a revolution no matter what. Revolution is an important word in Snowpiercer, as it not only means to revolt, but the train coming full circle on the planet is also called a revolution. It's a massive job for one person, and I do think that things are just going to get too much for her. Clearly trouble is a-brewing, and we see Bess return to her carriage, looking how I look, getting up 5 AM every Monday morning to do these videos anyway. John has realised that after she knocked him out, that he can use her to gain certain luxuries from her position in second, and he'd rather have those than actual justice. He's very much in a good position, as should the revolution begin, he can quickly side with Bess, who is clearly on the side of Layton at this point. However, if things go wrong, then he can also resume his place in authority, and I did appreciate this episode painting him out as a complex character that shows he's really duplicitous. He's a bad dude, but to be fair, pretty much everyone on board the train is, and all he's doing is abusing the small power that he has, just like everyone else. Elsewhere on the train, Layton is on a come down, and he blames Zara for suggesting that he carry out the investigation, which has made him an outlaw. Melanie delivers a speech to Third as they plan to go on strike, and I'm not lying, I've heard a lot better. She states that they should be grateful for what they have, as life in the tail is much worse, and this is often something I think people feel when they see injustice and inequality. A lot of time, the idea of losing what you have, even if it's not amazing, scares you into staying silent. Third on the whole seems to symbolise this, and Zara herself very much represents a life of apathy, where things are probably almost as bad as they are on the tail. However, the minor luxuries that she has have made her realise she doesn't want to go back there. This is probably a reach, but in numerology, the number 3 represents the principle of growth and expansion. 3 possesses freeform energy that doesn't work well with structure, and this isn't some big mental rant saying numerology is the thing, I did just Google it, but this could show why they chose Third to be a big focus in the uprising. They may not have done that intentionally, and maybe it happened by accident, because as we know, 3 is a magic number. I got you in the end. Josie goes to get Layton, and she's able to do this because of the access chip that he gave her earlier in the series. Layton tells her that Melanie is the one behind the curtain, which is a nod to the Wizard of Oz, in that it was revealed that the wizard was just a man using trickery and dramatic effect to appear in a certain way. This is of course apparent in Melanie, who's used vocal recordings of Wilford to make it seem like he's still in charge. Wilford is almost seen like a deity, similar to how the wizard in the movie is, and I really did appreciate this tiny little line. Josie takes Layton to a clinic where a doctor is clearly aware of what's going on in the drawers, and that they're mainly used for some ulterior motives. However, she's turned a blind eye to this because she's had it good, which again ties into the theme of this episode. John the brakeman knows things are bad, but he's happy with how he has it. The doctor does this too, and third only seem to be questioning things after their members have been murdered. The doctor learns she's on a secret blacklist that's been created by Melanie, and this changes her perspective as she realizes, much like Third, you can't sit in silence when bad things happen to people, as it may eventually happen to you. This is reflected in Zara, who initially doesn't want to fight, but after visiting Audrey, she has a change of heart. We also learn that she's pregnant, and it would be crazy, right? I just have a theory, but imagine if both her and Josie get pregnant, because Daddy Andre, he likes to play the field a bit. Play the train, some would say actually. Naughty boy. Now the doctor divulges that there are 11 cars of drawers in which Melanie has been carrying out these experiments and falsely imprisoning people on the list. I'm sort of jumping ahead a bit here, but it initially seems like Melanie has been silencing anyone who stands up against her. However, we later learn that she selected these people for a number of reasons. They've been chosen for their diversity, knowledge, set of skills, and more in order to carry on the human race once things begin to unthaw. Those on the train aren't going to live forever, and therefore they need people to carry on the species which this represents. I actually think this adds a lot of weight to the theory that Wilford is in a drawer, as he would likely want to see the new world, and who knows, he may have even volunteered to do it, and then let Melanie take his place with the leadership of the vessel. The rest of the population will likely put there against their will though, so I can imagine that they'll be angered. I don't know what way they're going to go with this, but I would guess that with the revolution on the horizon, the Tale will free these prisoners, and thus they'll have an army to completely desecrate the train with. In the Tale, the woman whose arm was frozen succumbs to her wounds, and it's quite a sad scene. We then watch in the undercarriage that Melanie visits the leaks, and we learn that it's shorting out the brakes. She goes to visit Miles, and it becomes clear at the end of the episode she's keeping him as an ace up her sleeve. She begins to lock down the train, and angered by this, Layton makes a mad dash to go and get her. There's also an interesting conversation with Ruth, in which she clearly puts across her suspicions that something is up with Wilford, and who knows, she even may be put in a drawer at one point for asking too many questions. Layton catches up with Melanie and holds a scalpel to her neck, whilst an accident causes the train to rock from side to side in what was, not gonna lie, I thought it was gonna derail the train for a second. This is when Layton grabs her and she explains the drawers as we mentioned earlier, and Layton, discovering that he's on the list, decides to let her live. This shows that, perhaps because he realizes he's one of the special people, he's gonna have the promise of a good life, and thus he allows more injustices to continue happening. However, I do think that he also realizes that without Melanie, the train is in danger, and he lets her off scot-free for now so that she can go and fix it. Now, when going to fix the train, Melanie says a very interesting line, which is, "I designed her, I can fix her." Due to her MIT and Yale engineering clothing from earlier in the season, I think we can now confirm that she is an engineer that designed the train and then Wilford built it. This would obviously make him have a great deal of trust in her, and this could be why he may have chosen her to take his position as the leader. Melanie manages to save Snowpiercer, but yeah, tense moments. I love how LJ is the only one sitting in first at a table, and she pushes the dessert off, showing that she's more interested in chaos and breaking things than she is herself or life. Ruth delivers a speech, and the Tale also look at a projection of the outside, which they seem to actually really like. Perhaps they have it so bad that they actually just want to see things come crashing down to take their chances, but yeah, there's a lot of different interpretations that you can take with this. Layton goes to Josie and tells her that he didn't kill Melanie because he was thinking of the bigger picture, but how long this will last for remains to be seen. Obviously he didn't want to die, But yeah, I really enjoyed this action scene, as you know, this show, it's often more about drama than heart-pounding moments, but I do feel like it delivered here. It was a nice change of pace, and it sort of wins Melanie back around in my eyes after the last couple of episodes painted her out as the big bad of the show. Bess returns to Jinju, and the train celebrates, seemingly forgetting that they almost had an uprising. Again, they've learned to be fine with what they have, even if things are bad on the whole, and Bennett gives a rousing speech that toasts Wilford, and the people chant his name. Audrey reminds her that the distraction will brush things under the carpet for a while, but how long, we don't know. The doctor allows Josie and Layton to use her cabin for love, and in the hospitality office, Melanie brings Miles in and appoints him as an engineer. She knows that Layton is still likely coming for her, and thus has him in her back pocket if she ever needs to use him. When she got the tool out, I actually thought for a second that it was the castration one that LJ used on her bodyguard, and for a second, just a second, I thought, oh, this has gotten a bit dark. Now, I actually think that Miles will be a key character that brings it all crashing down, and though he's going to be spending a lot of time with Melanie, he's probably still loyal to Josie and Layton, who no doubt want him to cause an uprising. If he's going to be an engineer, then he'll no doubt go to the engineering room, and he might be the one to let the tail forces travel up the train. He also has train pajamas, which is a nice touch, but yeah, clearly things are going to be getting shaken up within the next set of episodes. The show's starting to wind down now, and I think very shortly the truth about Melanie will come out, which will reignite the fire in Third and bring her control and schemes to light. That wraps up the episode, and it was another brilliant one that I'd obviously love to hear your thoughts on and what your theories are. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video and missed any of our other breakdowns, then they're going to be linked at the end, so please give them a watch. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you, you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at Heavy Spoilers or click the Discord link in the description below. Every month we give away free movies to people who are subscribed to the channel, and this month you can win the MCU Infinity Saga box set, and all you have to do is comment on a video and make sure you subscribe with notifications on. The more videos you comment on, the more you have a chance of winning, so make sure you get involved. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of July, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Cheers.